Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to run a stakeholder mapping exercise with your team using GroupMap. Now, creating a stakeholder map allows you to visually map out all the people that are vital to making your project or business a success. You can then use that to create a communication and engagement plan. The outcome of this is that you want to have a team-driven stakeholder map that tells you who to keep informed, who to monitor, who to keep satisfied, and who to manage closely. You want to use GroupMap when you have distributed teams, or you want to capture perceptions from everyone, or you want to show outcomes as part of your project reporting. So to create a map, you first need to go ahead and log in. And I'm going to log in using my Facebook account. Okay, so now I can create a map, and you can see that stakeholder map is already a template. So I can just add a project name to this. And this is a standard template, but let's say I wanted to modify it. So I can give it a new heading, and I can also type in a description in here. Now I can also change a few other things like the axis label in case I want to change interest to influence, the region labels if I want to change keep satisfied to keep happy, or perhaps some of the background. But if I'm happy with that, I can now set the rules. So I can make this map public or private, and if I am not worried about who specifically said what, I can allow participants to join anonymously. I can also decide who can add and edit ideas. So in this case, I might want, say, the top 10 stakeholders, but I might also want every stakeholder. And I can also decide if team members will work collaboratively, so they'll see suggested ideas from other people at the same time. And I can pick a number there, or I can get them to work independently if I only want them to create their own map. So in terms of voting options, I'm going to allow each participant to have 5 dot votes, and that will allow them to assign their dots to, say, the most important stakeholders that we need to focus on next week. And finally, I can decide if I want to share the results in real time so that they can see the group view and the reports during the activity or at a point later in time. And when I'm happy with all of that, I can go ahead and create my map. So now that my map's created, I can add a few directions for instructions to the participants when they first join in. So here I've copied some text in, and I can go ahead and save that. And you can see here that I've added the instruction that I've pinned the CEO and funding body as key stakeholders, and I'm asking the team members to move them into the right quadrant space. So I can pin ideas by simply typing the stakeholders straight into my map, like so. So just entering after each one. And then if I click on that, I can click on pin, and this will pin these 2 stakeholders to everybody's map when they first join. Now I want to invite people in. So I'll click on the invite panel, and I can do it a couple of ways. If everyone's in the same room, I can basically just share this password with them, or I can send them this link. Or if I have a mailing list, I can just copy and paste the email addresses, add a message, and send it off. Or because I'm logged in with Facebook, I can also paste straight to my Facebook wall. I'm just going to use the password for now, and I'll come across to this screen which represents the map participants view, and they'll go ahead and add the password here and then click on join to enter this particular map. So now you can see the directions that I've prepared earlier, and the fact that I want them to move these key stakeholders around. So they can now click on get started, and they simply just drag and drop the key stakeholders to where they see fit. So let's say they thought that we need to manage these 2 here. I can now add in some additional key stakeholders that I might work with or should work with on a weekly basis. And now I can just reposition these stakeholders according to where I think they fit on the power versus interest matrix. So I'm really starting to position the stakeholders where I feel they fit this particular project. I can also add a few comments. So for example, funding bodies really want an annual project report to be submitted, so I can go ahead and add those comments in. So now on each participant's map, you can see that those stakeholders have now come in as suggestions. So I can continue to work with my map, and each person creates their own stakeholder map that will later be pulled into one overall group view. I can go ahead and add people that I work with and take those ones that I don't work with out. And I can reposition them anywhere on this power versus interest matrix that I feel is relevant from my point of view, and continue to add a few other stakeholders as well. Now I can click on the group view, which pulls all those individual maps together. And now you get an idea of the power of this tool, because as each person moves and changes things around, let's say I move the funding body from up here to down here, it will instantly change on the group's perspective, allowing us to reach a consensus point. So now I can go ahead and allocate my dot votes. So in here in the group view, I can select the particular stakeholder and say, these ones really require some urgent attention in the next 5 days. I'm going to allocate my dot votes to these particular individuals. And the map owner or other participants can do exactly the same thing on their own map. So here I've got 5 dot votes that I want to allocate. I'm going to allocate one to legal, a couple to human resources, and so forth. And what I can now do is look at the view options and ask it to show me those stakeholders that have received the most votes. So if I apply these changes here, you'll suddenly see that human resources has grown bigger compared to the other ones who have received fewer votes. And the CEO and funding body are the same size because they are pinned key stakeholders. And finally, I can get my report. Just by clicking here, I can see very quickly under each heading who I need to keep satisfied, manage closely, monitor, and keep informed, as well as the results of the voting, as well as any comments that might be worthwhile checking out. And so now I can print this report out, print it off as a PDF, or come back to it at any time. And that really concludes how we use GroupMap to do a stakeholder mapping exercise with your team. We hope it's really helped you out and showed you a nice, quick, easy way to get some effective results. Don't forget to check out our other videos to help you get more out of your team meetings. And if you have any questions at all or comments, feel free to let us know at the link below. Thanks for watching.